Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Eyes Wide Shut, the podcast. This is Cedric,
Hey,
and I am Dee. I am your moderator for today. All right, Cedric. Katt Williams, Katt Williams, Katt Williams. Now, truth or consequences? For him, he talked about a lot of people. Let's start off with Kevin Hart. What's your take on that?
well, I think Kevin Hart should have left that alone. He made himself look like a liar. He made himself actually look bad about his respawn because if anybody looked at the video of the way he responded to, excuse me, the way he responded to Katt Williams, he did a video with him and his boys sitting around making jokes. All the jokes was corny, and everything he was saying was corny. All that fake laughing of your homeboys, the whole thing made you look bad. It really did. You shouldn't have responded at all because all that respond did is show people how funny you are when ain't nobody writing your lines.
Well, speaking of response, the first response I heard was on the Ricky Smiley show, where he defended his position. He flat out called Katt Williams a lie.
He didn't really call him a lie. He really said that Katt Williams wasn't really telling the whole truth, but but when he explained it, he never said that he was supposed to be the pimp. He never said that he was supposed to be playing the part that Katt Williams said he lied and said he was supposed to be playing. He never did say anything against it. He was trying to defend himself on a lot of things Katt Williams was saying about him. And honestly, if you ask me, I think his defense was poor. I think he should have left it alone because he came back a couple of days later crying on video talking about the same thing again. I understand the part about him crying, talking about what Katt Williams said, and then he said, well, it was part about he was thinking about his son. But if you think about your son, that wasn't a good look because half the people thinking you're crying because Katt Williams talked about you. Another half was thinking you was crying because of the fact that it was close to when your son passed away, and you were still in that plus trying to talk. You should have done that video. All it did is make you look bad. And like I said once, I say it again. All these people that's coming, that's trying to do a video or trying to tell their side of the story, all they're doing is making themselves look bad. Every last one of them that have done a rebuttal have made themselves look bad because normal, everyday people don't believe them because we already know they're in cahoots together.
All right, now, just recently watched Cedric the Entertainer, who also tried to come back on what Katt Williams said about him. The sad part is there was receipts out there.
A bunch of them.
So tell me more.
First of all, Cedric the Entertainer is not funny. Cedric the Entertainer, and like Katt Williams said, he can't sing, he can't dance, he can't write jokes. He's just a overweight man that laughs at his own jokes. Any comedian that have to laugh at his own jokes is not funny. Any comedian that laughs while he's talking, that's to get the audience to laugh because he's not funny. And when he came back with his rebuttal made him look worse, which means that his career is going to go down the drain because he shouldn't have said anything. I've been seeing video after video after video, even side by side with the same routine that Katt did with the car, he did with the spaceship. What he should have done, but he's too busy trying to steal. What he should have done is did it in a certain way to where his same routine didn't match Katt's same routine. That's what made him look like he stole it. So he's in the wrong, and once again, he should have left it alone because it's gonna bring his career down. All these people that's doing a video trying to come back and tell their side of the story, they should have left it alone because all it's gonna do is gonna kill their career. Watch what I say. I've seen 4 different shows that Cedric Entertainer been on, and I always say they never last. The one he on now, which I don't want to say the name of it because I don't want to give you no props. He's just a regular everyday guy. He's not trying to be funny. and the stuff they writing for him ain't funny. Only reason why it's still irrelevant and it's still on TV because he got white folks on there.
Mhm.
That's the only reason why it's still on TV because there's white folks in there. Other than that, it would have got canceled just like the other folk.
Speaking of rebuttals and staying silent, the one that he just ate up one side down the other was Steve Harvey.
Steve Harvey decided I got to get on that as soon as you said it. Steve Harvey deserved everything he's getting. That's the man that said he can care less about slavery. That's the man that said that he don't give a damn about Black history. That's the man that said everything that got to do with Black people. One the best thing you can do for poor people is not be one of them. The man wrote that book that every foolish person bought, but from a cheater that's been married 4 times, that don't deal with his kids at all until they turn 16 years old, that don't care nothing about people, don't care nothing about his staff, don't care nothing arrogant. All the rumors that y'all been hearing about Steve Harvey, now they coming out more because more people are talking. It's more people want to say stuff about Steve Harvey, but they didn't, too scared of the backlash. Now it's coming out little by little, little by little. When Katt Williams said that you said the same thing about your first wife, then you said the same thing about your second wife, that she acts like a man. When he said you act like a man, the same stuff she did to Steve Harvey, that's what men do to women. When you don't have nothing, they don't come around. But when you got something, they come around. Because she met Steve Harvey when Steve Harvey was broke. Soon as Steve Harvey started making money, she came back around, he married her. Everything Steve Harvey is doing to try to defend himself, he's just making himself look worse, making himself look bad, and making himself look like what everybody said he is. He's power hungry. All them lies he told, and every time he come on air, he's telling more and more lies. I mean, I'm ended like this, which I got a lot more to say. I'm gonna say it like this. On Family Feud, they showed him talking to his audience, trying to explain to his audience about what's going on with Katt Williams' interview. And when he was talking to the audience, he was saying, "Well, when God puts something in your way, and this happens, and then when prayer happens, and yeah, all this these because he goes like the normal people that ain't nothing godly about, love talking about God. But if y'all look at the video, you'll notice very few of the audience members clapping when he talking because he's trying to get praise from the audience, and you can hear that audience, the people is full out there. But every time he's talking, the things he's saying, he sent God when you're doing right, he sent somebody after you, and he's expecting people to clap for him. It's bad if people was clapping because right now, don't nobody trust him, don't nobody care about him. His popularity getting ready to go down because what he should have done, exactly what I said, he should have left that alone. Because everybody that's trying to say something, it's gonna ruin their career. Watch what I say.
Like Tiffany Haddish, speaking of career going down, she's been kind of like not as hot as she was at one time. He brought her up too.
Tiffany Haddish, excuse my language, she's never been hot. Everything everything Tiffany Haddish has done is something from somebody that wrote something for her, did something for her. It's all about what people are doing for her. She just like Kevin Hart. She came out of nowhere over all these comedians that's always been funny. They put her on top of everybody. And every single time she's had a show, she came out there drunk. She came out there high. Or she came out there and didn't know what to do. People will get it. When they see her perform, she performed like she don't know what she's doing. She made the excuse that she had been drinking. She hadn't been drinking. She was nervous and couldn't do her stand-up routine. Because I'm looking at it and stand routine was nothing drunk about what she was saying. Was nothing, excuse me, like she been smoking weed or drinking alcohol or whatever. I don't believe it. I believe she got up there and wasn't nobody laughing at her jokes. So she got nervous and she didn't know what to do. So she started acting a fool up there. So what Katt Williams said about her was 100% true. But everybody's trying to defend her. And I don't know why, because she's not funny. Katt Williams telling everybody she's not funny. And what she did something smart. She didn't try to defend that. But the career is already in the trash. So she did the smartest thing that she can do. She left that alone like the rest of them should have done.
Let's talk about D.L. Hughley. You and I part ways on him because I think he's funny. But beside all of that, let's talk about D.L. Hughley.
I don't think D.L. Hughley is funny at all. I've never thought D.L. Hughley was funny. I just thought he'd say stuff out the blue and people laugh for what he say. I think they laughing at the way he talk, other than laughing about who he is. But I give him credit. He did something really smart. They tried to poke at him to get him to say something about Katt Williams. They tried to jug at him to get him to say something about Katt Williams. They tried to send him texts and send him Instagram messages on his page. All he said was LOL, 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 because he's a smart man. He knows that I'm not going to ruin my career by messing with that. The messy media and the messy public out here of public opinion, they're just messy. They're trying to get DL to say something so they can run back and say this is what DL say, and then put it side by side with Katt Williams. Did you hear about what DL say? DL is smarter than that. I don't think he's funny, but I don't think he's not. I don't think he's a horrible comedian, but he's not funny to me because I've been on the stage 4 times and stand-up comedian, and I know for a fact I know funny from not funny. He's not funny. He might be funny to everybody else, so I'm not gonna take nothing from him. Because when it comes down to black issues, when it comes down to black people, when it comes down to standing up for us, he right there at the forefront. Other than the rest of them, all they're doing is making their money. So I got to give him credit for that. So when I say he ain't funny to me. But he's a smart man because he left that alone.
I agree with that. And yes, he does take a lot of political stance as far as African Americans are concerned, and that's admirable. But let's talk about something really funny. Earthquake. When I tell you Katt Williams went in on him.
Well, Earthquake, that's another one that I never thought was funny. And I thought that he was another comedian that you can tell the way he talk, people are writing stuff for him. Now, I seen him in one movie day before yesterday. He had some short lines. I don't think Katt Williams should have talked about him because he's been really out of the limelight. He's not doing what the rest of them doing, pushing up on everybody. But him, I don't really have a lot to say about him because he's not in the limelight. And anything you see his specials on TV ain't nothing. It's always reruns. He don't have anything new out here. I think Katt Williams should have left him alone, even though I believe what Katt Williams said. That's probably why he haven't been in. Because if you notice, most comedians that's right now that's in the limelight, even Lavelle Crawford, they got them in movies. They even had Lavelle Crawford in a sitcom. I don't know how long it lasted till they figured out how big and long his head was, and that's probably why I got canceled.
Okay. All right, I see you got a little comedic relief going over there. All right. Now let's talk about, before we get into some big wigs that Katt didn't touch, right. Let's talk about Mike Epps.
Mike Epps, a Cedric Entertainer, they might be, in real life, they might be brothers. Because they have the same boring act. Mike Williams has never been funny. Mike Williams is another comedian that laughs at his own jokes because they're not funny. Mike Epps. If I said his name wrong, I apologize. He laughs at his own jokes. He's just like Cedric. They laugh at their own jokes. Every time I listen to Mike Epps, but he's clever. He takes his time when he's telling his jokes, and so it can prolong the time he got to be out there. He takes his time. He'll tell a joke, beat the microphone on his ankle, legs, and on his back a couple of times, and stagger and run around the stage and fall on the floor and roll around, and then get up and tell a joke. Then get up and tap the mic on his leg and on his back and on his head and tell a joke, and then do the same. He ain't a comedian. He good in movies. I ain't gonna take that from him because he's funny in movies. But for the stand-up comedians, he ain't. Every show he done, I done been to 2 Mike Epps concerts. Always the 4 people before him, always funnier than him. And then he'll come on and do 30 to 45 minutes and go off. And well, that's why I'm going to concerts anyway, because those are just the groups anyway. But that's a whole nother story. But like he said, he wished Katt Williams. Dog whistles I listen to real good. He said he wished Katt Williams would have talked about him so the further his career. You know what that meant? Because ain't nobody fooling with Mike Epps. Everybody go to his little concerts, his little side shows, his little stand-ups. Mike Epps is not funny. And y'all will figure it out sooner or later. He's a good actor. I gotta get that to him. He's more of an actor than he is a comedian. Because he's definitely not funny. Any comedian, I'm gonna say it for the last time, they have to laugh to make themselves laugh because they know they make themselves laugh. The audience gonna laugh too. It's not funny. And then he say the same tired jokes. And I give him credit. He writing his own jokes because it's definitely not funny.
Okay. Let's talk about two that Katt Williams didn't touch. It's probably out of mad respect. The first one, Bernie Mac.
Well, I am so glad that he brought that in open about Bernie Mac because a lot of people didn't know the way Bernie Mac had been treated.
Mhm.
I watched the Bernie Mac story. I watched how Bernie Mac struggled to get out here and be a comedian when a lot of times he wasn't going nowhere, wasn't nobody taking him serious as a comedian, and he finally made it. When he finally made it, I've been heard about what Steve Harvey did on Ocean's 11 trying to take his part, but he's a good comedian, a great actor, everything he did, and I got to commend Katt Williams because a lot of stuff that Katt Williams said about Bernie Mac, nobody knew that. A lot of stuff Katt Williams said about the way they was trying to handle Bernie Mac, nobody knew that. So I'm glad that when he started talking about Bernie Mac, he prolonged it. And I love what his daughter had to say about Katt Williams, that she's never met him, but she appreciated how he talked about her father. So far as Bernie Mac is concerned, I'm glad he did some service to Bernie Mac. Because Bernie Mac passed, he was out of everybody's mind. Let's see a video. But nobody knew how they was trying to handle. They didn't handle him, how they was trying to handle him. Once again, they didn't do it, but how they was trying to handle him. Because they figured, like Steve Hart said, he's ugly, black, wasn't good looking. They thought they looked better than him, but they don't understand Bernie Mac. If it wasn't for Bernie Mac, that Kings of Comedy would have been trash. Because the first three was nothing.
Yeah, he came on and he shut
it down.
He really
Shut
did.
it down.
He's a funny guy.
Yes, indeed.
And gone too soon.
Yes.
Let's talk about Dave Chappelle.
Well, Dave Chappelle has a great career. Anybody that's looking at this that knows Dave Chappelle and can get back some information from me to him, leave that alone. Because what he said was that was bad for comedy. What happened to Katt Williams? No, you're gonna don't ruin your career, Dave Chappelle, by commenting. Because what they're gonna do is people will turn on you, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because the first thing they're gonna think is that you trying to go with to save those other comedians he talked about. You trying to go with and go against Katt Williams what he said. You don't even have a dog in this fight, so I understand why you even made a comment. Because most people that are making comments about what Katt Williams said are killing their career because they just leave it alone. Everybody trying to get Katt Williams on their talk shows and on their little podcasts, he's not going to do it unless you pay him a lot of money, and I don't blame him. Because everybody's trying to get him on their shows. He ain't finna do it, and I don't blame him for not doing it because now everybody, all them people that talked about you, by Katt Williams, that he was on drugs, that he's been to jail so many times, which never been convicted, that he doing this and he doing that, he's bad. All these people, now they smiling and grinning in his face, want him on their shows. Those same people that talked about him, now they want him on the show. But Katt Williams is smart. He's a smart guy. He's not going on none of them show because I'm not finna make you rich behind putting my face on your show. But for this David Chappelle is concerned, dude, you my number one comedian. Advice from me to you, leave that alone. To all these other comedians and actors and entertainers, y'all need to leave that alone. Because everybody, regular people like me and you that's out there, we already know it's some fishy stuff going on out there in Hollywood. And when folks start trying to defend it by trying to down Katt Williams, only thing we're looking at you is saying is you part of the problem too.
Facts. And you know what? Those who did rebuttal did kind of make themselves look worse.
Yeah, all of them make themselves look bad. And what's so bad about it is they make themselves look better than I know he said what he said. Okay, we believe what he said. But by your rebuttal, you really made us believe everything he said. Because nobody said he was lying.
Right.
trying to save face. That wasn't good enough. So to the people that hadn't said anything, I leave that alone. I leave that alone. And then you got folks talking that he wasn't even talking to. You got folks making comments. He didn't even say your name. The problem is you feel like if you put a Katt Williams name in your mouth, that's gonna get you clout. No, it's not. It's gonna make people don't want to deal with you. Because with everything the man said, he was 100% on point. I couldn't have said it no better myself. He left a whole bunch of folks out, but I'll take care of that on one of my podcasts, who he left out. But he left a bunch of folks out. And it wasn't comedians, it was these entertainers, these actors, and these people on these sports analysts, which I definitely got a problem with. But that's another day, another time.
Well, that about wraps it up because, yeah, I was going to say, what about the ones he didn't mention?
Oh, I got them.
Oh,
Trust
yeah.
me.
All right. So, looking forward for those segments. How can we stay in contact or reach you or see more of your content?
Well, I would like you to subscribe, share, uh, said his opinion, or Eyes Wide Shut podcast. Would love for you to come back and give me some feedback on what you think about my information that I'm giving. And like I say, I just enjoy talking to my people. I enjoy spreading what's going on out there, saying things most people don't want to say. I don't have a problem with it. I'm not all about trying to make it loud and violent and crazy like all these other podcasts and all these other YouTube channels. Just to get attention, you got to have fights. You got to be cursing. You got to be loud. Got to have ignorant people on your channel to make it work. No, just have people that talk common sense, people that talk like you talk, people that live the life that you live, like everyday people. Because a lot of these people are doing a lot of stuff for clout, likes, and for you to come back. Because as we know, as Americans and as people, that we love mess, but sometimes mess makes somebody else rich, and they just doing it just to take your money. And I just want you to come back and like I said, subscribe, like, share my channel, Eyes Wide Shut podcast, and I'll be back soon with some more good stuff for you. I'm out. Cedric Lewis. I am definitely out.